Hello there, welcome to Babylon Has Fallen. I'm your host, Mason Sandoval. Today I'm with my father, and we're going to be talking about Book of Boba Fett. What a mixed bag this show has been.
Started off good.
Yeah, no, those first two episodes were great. Everything with the Tusken Raiders, I loved.
Me too. Give a whole like new dimension.
Yeah, whole new perspective on that. And I feel like him, kind of being part of that tribe kind of explains why, this isn't necessarily the same Boba Fett that we've known from the original trilogy. This is a man who's grown.
Kind of gave a little bit of a cool backstory to how we just first meet the old Boba Fett in the Mandalorian episode.
Yeah, exactly. It was awesome how they opened it up with him just finally climbing out of the Sarlacc pit. I liked finally being able to see that.
Yeah, because it was kind of, in the movie when he fell into the Sarlacc pit, that was kind of a lackluster ending for such a big character.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then, in Mandalorian, it's great seeing him, be part of that show. And then, I liked how they teased this show at the end of season 2. And they just kind of start from the get-go that he's in charge of Jabba's empire. Or not empire, I guess it would be Crime Syndicate.
He's taken over.
Yeah. And, that has its own problems. I like that he has kind of developed this sense of honor after hanging out with the Tusken Raiders, and that's why he's not as ruthless of a leader as you would expect him to be.
He was a dark and mysterious figure before, but that was what we liked about him.
Yeah.
Now he's not quite as dark. He's not dark at all. He's definitely not mysterious.
Like a panther. Yes?
I mean, I don't know. He's still cool. We still like him. We're still rooting for him. But, I kind of like rooting for the bad guys sometimes, too. And I don't feel like I'm getting that out of him right now.
Yeah. No, I feel that. They're definitely playing up the hero aspect of being an anti-hero with this character now. Would you argue, or do you think that there's an argument to be made that some of that mystery has already been taken away after seeing, Attack of the Clones and just seeing him as like a little boy with Jango Fett?
Well, that's kind of tough to say, I feel that whole scenario was something that really could be expanded upon with having all these different... You could have the same actor playing all of these different characters.
Yes.
Because they're all clones and because they all look alike.
Yeah, exactly.
So, there's definitely something to be said there. I think, the vulnerability of having young Boba Fett seeing his dad being decapitated and grabbing the helmet and blah, 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 could really, I think it initially led to, oh, wow, that's why he's such a...
Hardened.
Hardened.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So I thought that part was cool. I don't think it really made him vulnerable at all. I think it kind of showed why he was probably pumped up and mad at the universe.
So angry. Just ready to kill.
Yep.
Let's talk about the stuff that we don't like. Those mods, damn it. Oh my god.
All right. So I'm just going to say it. I think that there's too much contemporary styling in the story and in the imagery for this season of Boba Fett.
Yeah.
I think space bikers and space mods...
Flame!
Sucks. I feel like certain things could have been done to kind of make them from... You
hit the nail right on the head when you said that their very existence is just very next generation-y. It's very out of place. It doesn't feel like Star Wars.
Yeah. And I'm a hot rodder and motorcycles.
You're a biker.
And stuff. And the thing that I had one of the things that I had a problem with the space mods, as I'm calling them, that seemed out of place with me stylistically was the fact that everything on Tatooine is sand blown and sun bleached out across the entire planet, and then you've got a half a dozen of candy apple red and
like 50s
metal flake blue
motorcycles.
Yeah, and I don't know. It seemed out of place in every way, shape, and form. And I think that the characters were just like, I don't know, it was just kind of dorky.
They're not even 2-dimensional. They're 1-dimensional. They're just there.
Yeah, I don't know. It just rubbed me the wrong way.
It rubbed me the wrong way. They because we binged the first 3 episodes together. I know that you watched them before I did, but I like watching them kind of all in one, so I don't have to wait weeks at a time. And, those first 2 episodes had me hook, line, sinker. Like, I was like, oh, my, this is why I love Star Wars. I love how gritty this is. I love, seeing these different sides of these characters. And then that episode just happened, and I was like, oh, God. And then the following one, which mainly deals with this right-hand woman. I'm blanking out on her name.
Yeah, I am. But she's cool.
She's great. Yeah. She's like consistently good in every single episode. Like that, I don't know. That seems like the kind of person that Boba Fett would want to have as an assistant.
Can I tell you where the Book of Boba Fett started to begin to jump the shark?
Please,
for me personally,
please.
Okay, I guess it was episode 3 when Boba Fett had successfully worked with the Tusken Raiders to get rid of the Spice Syndicate or whatever those guys were with the big train.
Right.
And so he gets adopted into the tribe, which was cool.
Yeah.
But then they do the victory dance. And that was just
God, you're right.
I know you kind of got to do something to celebrate how he kind of is.
They could do a toast.
Yeah, a sacrificial.
A chant?
Yeah, kill something. I don't know. Something kind of cool.
Yeah.
But then they have synchronized dances and stuff. And I know that it probably ties into, the maybe the actor's cultural background with the Maori victory, war dances and stuff like that.
Yeah, that could be it.
Could be. But I just felt like for the planet of Tatooine, it just was stuck out like a sore thumb.
It did.
Weird.
It was very yub-nubby,
right,
for sure.
And I was like, okay, I can overlook it. Next episode, we get the space mods. I'm like, God, man, fuck.
I'm trying to think about what else happened. It's mainly just seeing him kind of like develop this crime syndicate or like this tribe.
Yeah.
The most underutilized aspect of this entire show has got to be that gladiator Wookiee.
You want to talk about underutilized? Is his jetpack broken or something?
He used it once! There's a scene where he's surrounded by all those guys with the shields. He could literally just fly up.
Yeah. Press the button, dude.
Come on.
So, but, it's funny. We watched the most current episode of the Book of Boba Fett, episode 5.
Yes.
Which was the best one, where he didn't appear at all. I did feel a little guilty about feeling that way. But it just goes to show how much better The Mandalorian is. And I feel like, some are saying that The Mandalorian's really carrying the entire Star Wars franchise at this point. And
it is.
I gotta say, I mean, it's...
this episode was proof of it.
Yeah. But it's funny, from what I understand... It's the same writers, the same production company, but there's
same directors.
Yeah, it just seems to me like there's some kind of a definitive split in where the creative investment is going in the two stories.
Yeah, well, I mean, like you were pointing this out as we were watching last night that like just for some reason it could just be the cinematography or just like the style of direction that Bryce Dallas Howard did with that Mandalorian episode, but. Some episodes look significantly cheaper than others, and that could just be, kind of the cost of using practical effects. But, I mean, the originals use practical effects, and those don't look cheap. That still holds up.
When they're used correctly, I think that there is room for practical effects and CGI to work together to make things really, really cool.
Yes, yeah.
But I think when you rely too heavily on one or the other, you either get a puppet show or you get a cartoon.
Yes, or a video game. Yeah, exactly. But with that one with the Mandalorian, I mean, like even that scene where he's fighting, I want to say it's Jon Favreau as the bigger blue Mandalorian, but where they're fighting on that bridge in front of just like the stars, like you can tell that's like a set with the green screen behind it, but I don't know, just like the way that they composed that shot, it looked like one of the ones from like Return of the Jedi.
It actually had a cinematic quality to it, and not just a live action representation of.
Book of Boba Fett looks and feels a lot like a fan film, whereas Mandalorian feels like a Star Wars TV show.
I agree. It's almost like the fans and I don't know, what do they call that? Fan service or whatever?
Yes.
And I hate to use that term, but I really do feel like as a fan, The Mandalorian really is catering to me and what I want to see. And, I feel like every episode there's like one or two things where I'm like, oh, that's so cool. It reminds me of this, and that as a total callback to, something previously seen in the Star Wars universe.
Yeah.
Whereas with the Book of Boba Fett, I find that in every episode, something's coming up where I'm like, oh man, they're trying to sell more plush dolls.
Yeah, that's definitely part of it. I mean, you did kind of bring up a cool point about Book of Boba Fett, particularly like whenever they're hanging out in a cantina. And I love that they're going to a cantina every single episode. But one of the cool things about Book of Boba Fett, and you said this, it's kind of like the backstory for every single throwaway action figure that they made in the 80s.
Yeah, I mean, I think of it that way. I mean, obviously, I'm a 51-year-old guy. And so these movies came out when I was 7.
Right. Yeah, actually. First one.
So I was a little kid when all these action figures came out. And so all my friends would be coming to school with the latest action figure I'd never even seen. I didn't remember from any of the movies. And then sooner or later, you flash forward, you got all these different versions of them.
Yep.
We're talking about thousands and thousands of action figures. And now they're kind of coming to life.
Yeah.
The Book of Boba Fett, which to me is probably one of the greatest, victories that they're walking away with out of this.
Yeah.
Where you've got, like I said, it's almost like you have a backstory for all these different action figures that were just kind of background guys.
Yeah, exactly.
The walrus-looking guy.
The blue
guy.
elephant guy. Stuff like that. No, I love that aspect about this show.
I am hopeful that maybe they'll get a little more into the bounty hunting aspect of things. Maybe they can loop in some of the other bounty hunters that we've seen from maybe Empire Strikes Back,
Rogue One, anything like that.
Absolutely. So, I mean, it's got a lot of potential. I'm not writing it off, but sometimes I'm just kind of like, I've got my hand on my forehead, I'm just shaking my head going, oh man, what a misstep.
I know. Who do you think the big baddie is going to wind up being? There's got to be somebody pulling the strings here. I've heard some theories that it might be Darth Maul.
That would be cool. Love to see him back again.
That'd be great. I mean, he's out there.
I mean, obviously they're bringing characters back to life left and right.
Exactly. Nobody stays dead. So, yeah, exactly.
Be great to see him back again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It'd be cool, because I know that the Book of Boba Fett isn't too far removed from the original trilogy. I know he's not the best actor, but he is good in some scenes. If they brought in that guy who played young Han Solo,
okay,
that'd be cool. Just to have Han Solo in the mix.
As long as he's not speaking Wookiee, I think,
Yeah, I speak a little now. Just listen.
I don't know. So young Han Solo is kind of, or the Han Solo movie is kind of...
That's the worst one.
It's kind of like Book of Boba Fett. There's some really, really cool things that they did. There's a lot of cool things that they missed out on, and there's a lot of cringeworthy moments.
Yeah, that sums it up perfectly.
So, all in all, I'm not a one and done guy. I've seen every episode of Book of Boba Fett 3 times.
Wow. Just to make... that factors out, yeah.
So, I mean, but the first time around, it's you're kind of getting the broad strokes. The second time, you're picking up the subtle nuances, and the third time around, you're picking it apart.
Yes, exactly.
So maybe I should just be watching these things one time each and be happy with it.
No, I think it warrants multiple viewings. I can't wait to see what they do next. Again, episode 5 is just, it's really just a premiere for season 3 of Mandalorian, and I'm more ready for that than I am for this.
It seems to me with this episode 5 that it's kind of like how you have a show like Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad, where the 2 timelines are starting to mesh.
Yeah, starting to intersect.
Yeah. So I think we're kind of right at that point where we're just before we're at the intersection.
Yeah.
We're going to see that crossover, and I'm really hopeful that they start doing that with the other shows that they have planned.
Yeah. It'd be cool to see. I'm probably most excited for the Obi-Wan show that's coming out, mainly because Hayden Christensen's coming back as Darth Vader.
Yeah.
So there will be a rematch.
Well, and then you've got Ewan McGregor, who is he gives a master class in acting anytime we see him on screen. So I know that we won't go wrong with that one at all. If you think Mandalorian is cool,
it's got to be so good.
I think it's going to be really amazing. And from what I'm hearing, and of course this is all, we don't know until
rumors,
until
leaks,
out.
whatever, yeah.
But, I think there's going to be, if we get some Darth Vader out of it, maybe we get some Darth Maul, maybe we get both those guys in one scene. Can you imagine?
Oh my God!
So it's got a lot of potential. We'll see where it all goes.
We'll see because you're right. Mandalorian has it simultaneously is carrying the entire franchise on its shoulders, but it also is. It's like it's almost always there to kind of revitalize the franchise whenever there's a misstep. So it almost, and I'm probably going to eat my words at some point within another episode or two. It's almost as if they technically can't really do that much wrong right now.
Don't jinx anything.
I heard it after I said it.
But I do feel like it is maybe not the moral compass of Star Wars right now, but I feel like it's kind of like the spirit of Star Wars is deeply rooted in the Mandalorian right now, and where it swings around from there, it's going to hit some good stuff and some kind of dorky stuff, but I think it's in good hands right now with the Mandalorian.
I think so too. I never thought I'd say this, but I really like what Disney's doing with Star Wars. I think that it's smart that you just focus on TV shows, forget trilogies. We've had 3 trilogies. That's what 9 times 2, 18 hours at the very least, maybe more like 20 hours worth of movie. I'm fine just seeing TV shows going forward.
Yeah, it's a lot. I think if they can keep away from the contemporary stylistic missteps and using props from things that I could get at the local restaurant Depot.
Yeah, you brought up a great point. That scene where he's in like the slaughterhouse or whatever, or no, it's like Jabba's kitchen, and like you see just like IKEA like pots and pans just on the shelf in the background. Yeah, lazy.
There's the chef's the stainless steel chef's table I have in the garage. I want to take a look.
There's a KitchenAid blender in the background.
Yeah, I mean,
exactly.
Come on, guys, step up.
Either way, though, it's good.
Yeah, it's good.
It's worth checking out at least once.
But what does it tell you on this podcast so far, which is about the Book of Boba Fett? The Book of Boba Fett has only been about a third of this conversation.
Yeah.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen,
it's a perfect place to end it.